for another live stream brought to you by the awesome people over at Princess Dental Staffing. Happy Wednesday to everyone. So happy everyone could be here with me today. So today's topic is dental hygienist tricks that you can use every day. So, the life of a dental hygienist can be super, super busy at times. And the last thing you want to do is cut corners during your workday. So we're going to be going over 4 tricks that you can use every day to help you move through your workday as easily as possible while still providing the same high level of patient care. Okay, just to make your workday just that much easier. Okay, but before we dive into that, just want to remind everyone that Princess Dental Staffing is an online dental job board. Okay, so you can check them out at princessdentalstaffing.com. They also have a blog that covers a lot of the topics that we're covering in these streams. So just to give you a little bit of further reading, you can also start searching for jobs in your area. They currently have positions open for front office personnel, dental assistants, dental hygienists, and even dentists in a variety of different areas. So you can hop on there and start searching for jobs. You can also create a profile and get your information in front of hiring managers. Okay. I also want to remind everyone that each week we are bringing you a new live stream that covers a new topic concerning your career in the dental industry. So if you don't want to miss out on future streams, be sure to follow our page or subscribe to our channel And of course, if you have any questions, thoughts, insights, or just any comments on the topics that we're bringing you, be sure to comment below. And of course, if we couldn't address them when this stream was live, we'll get to them as soon as possible. Okay. And of course, if you like the information that we're bringing you, drop us a like. Okay. Okay. So let's dive into today's topic: tricks you can use every day as a dental hygienist. Trick number one, work smarter, not harder. Okay. So, hard work, of course, is always appreciated in a dental office, but you don't necessarily always have to work harder in order to get the same result. So work smarter, not harder, basically means just using all the tools at your disposal in order to produce the same result without having to produce as much effort. Okay. So this is just one way that you can kind of, like I said, move through your workday more easily and efficiently while still providing the same level of care to patients. Okay. So one of our top tips is actually using air to check for calculus during cleanings. Now, there are some traditional dental hygiene programs that kind of frown on this practice because it does take additional work in the learning process. However, it is an effective way to assist you in being thorough during the patient's cleaning. Okay. At the end of the day, the main goal here is timely and effective and efficient cleanings for your patients. So there's no reason not to use all of the tools at your disposal, and there's no reason to put yourself at a disadvantage. Okay. Alrighty. So always employ the mindset of working smarter, not harder. Okay. Trick number 2, ask the patient to move, okay? So it's a lot easier just to ask the patient to move their head just a little bit instead of having to constantly move around the patient. That takes a lot of time, effort, and energy just to constantly be moving around the patient, each and every patient, every day. Okay. And it may feel a little bit like you're not being accommodating to the patient, but really you're just asking them to move just a little bit. So unless they have some sort of injury or prevention from moving their head just a little bit to make it a little bit easier for you to reach all the areas that you need to reach, there's really no problem with asking the patient to move just a little bit. Okay. And patients don't mind doing so, again, unless they have some sort of unless they have some sort of restriction or pain or something like that, they're not going to mind just moving their head just a little bit so that you can give them a more thorough cleaning. Okay. You may also have to ask the patient to stay more still. Now, we've discussed at length in a lot of these streams about patient anxiety, right? A lot of patients experience anxiety when going to the dentist. Okay. And sometimes that anxiety, if your patient has anxiety, sometimes it can manifest in, moving around and squirming around quite a bit. One of the more common ways that patients can kind of squirm is bouncing their leg, right? I'm sure you've seen, if you've been a dental hygienist for a little while, I'm sure you've seen at least one patient kind of bouncing their leg and being a little anxious. They may also try to talk too much so that you can't get in their mouth to do what you need to do, or they may just be physically moving around in a general sort of manner. But you may have to ask the patient to kind of stay still. And if you think that your patient is kind of moving around because they're experiencing some anxiety, try to quell that anxiety as much as possible. Ask the patient if they're okay, if they need anything. Acknowledge that they might be feeling anxious. I know you might be feeling anxious, but the more still you are, the quicker we can get this done, and the quicker we can get you out of here. As a matter of fact, I kind of have an anecdote about this. So I don't usually get anxiety. Me personally, I don't usually get anxiety when I go to the dentist. I get anxiety when I have to get a shot. I am a needle phobic. I do not like needles. I especially do not like needles in my mouth, because I think it's something about, just not being able to see where it is that just makes it even worse. I'm a total needle phobic. And I remember I had a dentist once, and I was getting kind of anxious and kind of squirming around a little bit. And I had a dentist once, not only tell me to breathe, which is helpful, she also told me to wiggle my toes, which was surprisingly helpful, actually. I never would have thought to do that. But she told me to just lay there and wiggle my toes. And it just kind of, I imagine it was a lot easier for her because I was wiggling my toes, which doesn't move your body too much. So she was able to get in there and numb me up and do all the things that she needed to do. But it still gave me kind of something to focus on. So I wasn't, I didn't feel so out of control, So that might be a trick that you use as well. Tell the patient, I know you're feeling a little anxious, like make sure you're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and wiggle your toes. Okay. It always feels like we're playing almost part counselor to helping people not feel anxious. Haha. Yeah, absolutely, Drew. I think, if you have any sort of customer service position, any position where you are facing customers or patients, I think you kind of have to have a little bit of a background in making your customer feel comfortable. Even as a resume writer, I have to do the same thing. Sometimes I get, clients who are a little bit anxious about reentering the workforce, especially after, so many COVID layoffs. Had a lot of clients that were feeling a little bit anxious about reentering the workforce. And even though it's not really technically part of my job description, I write your resumes and I write your documents and everything. Even though it's not technically part of my job description, I think it always goes a long way with my clients to, be able to connect with them and build that trusting rapport and make them feel a little less anxious about the process. And I think that's a really important quality for dental staff as well, dental hygienists, et cetera. So absolutely. I definitely feel you on that one, Drew. Okay, so that was number 2. Trick number 3, conduct your chart audits in advance. Okay, this is really applicable if you are continually working at the same office. But conducting your chart audits ahead of time, maybe like the day beforehand or as soon as possible, can really go a long way to facilitating a really smooth work day. Okay. So what this allows you, conducting your chart audits ahead of time allows you to be more prepared for the patient when they come in. And even without conducting a specific chart audit, you can still know the basics of why the patient is coming in. And that will give you a good idea of, how the appointment is going to go. And there are multiple advantages to, chart auditing early. Okay. So for example, it gives you a full scope of, of the patient and the appointment before the patient comes in. For example, do they have pending financial obligations? Do they have other family members that also visit this office and have those family members scheduled their next appointment, their next cleaning, right? Do they need additional x-rays because it's just been too long and they need an update, okay? So those are the sorts of things that you can kind of pick up on if you do your chart audits early. Additionally, conducting them early will also help you not appear as disorganized when the patient comes in. So, having to kind of scramble around at the last minute, you won't have to do that, and you won't seem as disorganized, and you'll seem like you've got your stuff together. Okay. As always, again, use all of the tools available at your disposal, and that is really going to help you move through your workday very seamlessly. Okay. Trick number 4, be transparent and specific. Again, patient anxiety, it's a common thing, and it's experienced by a lot of patients that go to the dentist. So being transparent with the patient can help eliminate a lot of the mystery surrounding their particular appointment and what's going to be done. So just, explaining what's happening, what's going to happen, and what you're doing while you're doing it can really go a long way to quelling that patient anxiety, right? Which is beneficial for you, so that you don't constantly have to stop and, allow the patient to kind of work through those feelings of anxiety. And of course, it's extremely beneficial for the patient, right? No one wants to be an anxious mess, especially in front of people they don't know that well. So it's always a good thing to be transparent. And transparency can be about a lot of different things. Transparency can manifest in a lot of different ways. For example, it could be you talking to the patient about their gum health. It could be talking about things that the patient can stop doing in order to improve their oral hygiene or their overall oral health. It could be talking about, consequences of certain actions and certain habits that patients have, right? If you don't floss, this may very well happen, okay? You can also be very specific on ways that they can improve their oral health as well. For example, recommending, kinds of toothbrushes, mouthwashes, toothpaste, treatments, procedures, and those sorts of things. So, just being transparent and guiding your patient through the appointment and through basic oral health and hygiene can really go a long way to not only streamlining the appointment, but also, building that trusting rapport with that patient. Okay. Okay, so those are our tricks for you, for our tricks for dental hygienists to help you move through your workday and that you can use every single day. So let's do a quick recap, okay? Trick number 1, working smarter instead of harder, using all of the tools at your disposal in order to provide your patient with a high level of care and service, and to complete those cleanings effectively and thoroughly, okay? Trick number 2, ask the patient to move. You don't have to move around the patient's head as much as you think you do. You can always ask the patient to move. Unless they have something preventing them from moving their head or moving their neck, they're not going to mind, okay? Number 3, conduct your chart audits in advance. The more, just like the day before is a totally great thing to do, so that you have a good idea of what the patient is coming in for, so that you can get a full picture of the patient profile, and so you are prepared for each appointment that comes in. Okay. And number 4, be transparent and specific. Okay. Patient anxiety, let the patient know what's going on, what you expect to happen, what's going on, what you're doing when you're doing it. And that is going to help your patient feel more comfortable and move through the appointment more efficiently. Working smarter and not harder is always a good strategy. Yeah, Ralph. And just about anything, I think, working smarter and not harder is always a really good strategy to facilitate, kind of those smooth operations and moving through each appointment and each task. Okay. So Thank you for being here with me today, everyone. I hope we provided you with some really great tricks that you're going to use the next time that you go into the office. And I really hope they're helpful to you in moving through your workday. So we're going to be back next week, next Wednesday. We always come back on Wednesdays to provide you with another live stream and another topic concerning your career in the dental industry. In the meantime, everyone, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Continue to stay safe out there, and I'll see you soon. Okay? Bye.